कोई coffee date हो, a very good source for your heart.
Yeah.
Wine is actually not a good source for your heart.
Red wine also some people say.
Like when I have my coffee, मैं वो एक sip enjoy कर रही हूँ.
So like I had passion fruit juice and I added an espresso shot to it and it was fabulous. So the world likes Arabica, loves Arabica, right?
So you don't know the tea taste.
So
उसने वनीला, गुलाब जामुन और उसपे कॉफी का एस्प्रेसो शॉट डाल के एस्प्रेसो दिया था.
I won't do that.
And it tasted. Welcome to the Brew podcast, where conversation flows like a perfect cup of coffee. Today we have Mr. Manish, the founder of the brand Black Bull Coffee, with us. Hi Manish, how are you?
Hi Ashna, I'm good. How are you doing?
Great. So we have some nice, interesting questions related to coffee, which I think you would be the best person to help us out for.
Always happy to talk about coffee.
Thank you. So the first question would be, what got you into coffee? Matlab, how did your coffee journey begin?
I think it's very difficult to recall when it began because it's been so long. If I look back, I think I've been having coffee and experimenting with different sorts of coffees for the last 10 years now. And the idea was always to try something new in coffee, fundamentally because it was very difficult to get good quality coffee in India. Like I think I can now safely say that out of the 10 years, for probably 7-8 years, I've had shit coffee, very, very bad coffee. And I was always trying new things on how it can be improved, how can we improve the extraction, how can we improve the final taste which comes in the cup. But eventually, I think the challenge was that the starting point was not there. Like the coffee beans were not of a great quality. And that is also one of the fundamental reasons why I think I came into it as a brand. Like I have other things that I do in life, but coffee became a brand for me, a business for me, because I wanted to have good coffee and I wanted people around me to have good coffee.
Good coffee.
Yes.
So tell us the speciality of your brand. As in, if I look into these, I mean, how are you different? Why is it that?
So these are something which we have launched recently, and these are launched for home brewers, people who want to have good cup of coffee at home. Before this, we are a brand which deals with roasted coffees, and we supply to multiple cafes and 5-star hotels around India. The way we try to differentiate from others is that we are very, very finicky in terms of what we launch and what we give out into the market. I think when we launched our first coffee, our home espresso blend, I think we would have tasted around 100 coffees before doing that.
100?
Just to finalize and filter out that one coffee. So we are very, very rigorous in terms of deciding which coffees to launch. Until date, we only have 5 coffees that
you
we
don't,
launch.
You don't play with multiple SKUs?
No, we don't play with multiple SKUs because I think where we intend to be is that a few years down the line, when someone looks at Black Bull coffee, they know that regardless of which kind of coffee it is going to be great. So we want to be very, very clear that rather than chasing number of coffees that we have on our platform, okay, we are selling 40 coffees or 50 coffees, we would rather sell less number of coffees, but be very, very sure of the quality. And quality in terms of the taste profile, in terms of that majority of people should like that coffee. It's very difficult. It is impossible to make sure that everyone likes it. Everyone will have a different preference, but make sure that most of the people like that coffee.
कोई एक गेम चेंजिंग मोमेंट जिसने आपकी कॉफी जर्नी को शेप किया हो?
So this is a bigger story and I will like to go through it. So 3 years back, I went to Vietnam. It was planned as a backpacking trip initially, but then it converted into a coffee exploration trip for me because Vietnam is the world's second largest producer after Brazil, has a very strong coffee drinking culture also. And I was intrigued. I wanted to know more about it. And honestly, in terms of taste profile, the coffee was nice. It was not bad. And I got a ton of it back home to try out, to make other people try out. And that is when the seed to create a brand was born. And I wanted to get Vietnamese coffee into India and then sell that. And I thought that is a good market. Eventually, when I came back and I started researching, I realized that you have to pay a massive duty to get coffee beans into India. This has been done to protect the Indian domestic market. Fair enough. And then I was like, okay, fine. I can't get coffee from Vietnam or anywhere else into India, at least to start a brand, right? Or to do it at a volume. So might as well explore the Indian coffees. Okay. See if we can get some good coffees out of India, because I knew that we have great coffee, but I also knew that most of it gets exported to Europe and to other places. And I went to Coorg. I got access to a coffee lab wherein you can do the testing on coffee on terms of quality. And there I took some samples from Vietnam and I pitched them against Indian coffee. And what I realized was that Indian coffee turned out to be far superior.
सो आपका फर्स्ट बिग कॉफी एक्सपेरिमेंट, मतलब या कोई फेलियर या कोई मजेदार इंसिडेंट जो आपको याद आता हो, except this?
So as I said that I used to do a lot of experiments. So one experiment that I used to enjoy and like was that when I was grinding coffee, I would, along with the beans, put one clove, one black pepper, and a small stick of cinnamon into it, grind it all together with the coffee, and then brew it, and drink that spiced version of coffee. Would I do it today? No.
And how did it taste?
It tasted fabulous. It tasted better than
And
the
then
normal
why would
coffee.
you not do it today?
I don't want to do that to my grinder now. I want my grinder to only grind coffee. If I want to add spices, I would grind them separately and then add into my coffee while I'm brewing, but not in my expensive coffee
as in,
grinder.
not for you, but अगर आप इंडियन ऑडियंस के हिसाब से भी सोचो, so what do you feel कि कॉफी सिर्फ एक ड्रिंक है या is it something much more deeper?
It should be something much more deeper, but right now I think it is more of a drink for most of the people. There's a very tiny percentage of people who find a lot of joy in coffee, a lot of joy in experimenting with different coffees, trying out different brewing
Like
methods.
for me, if you ask, I may not try different methods. मेरी वो एक सिंपल कॉफी की टेक्निक होगी जो मैं पीती हूँ, बट कॉफी पी के मुझे ऐसे ऐसे वो नहीं होता, लेट्स से कि ऐसे टिपिकल हिंदी में बोले तो तृप्ति नहीं रहती, ओह ओके फाइनली। और अगर वो शाम तक आपको कॉफी नहीं मिले तो यू नो देयर इज समथिंग रॉन्ग, फिर यू रियलाइज कि यार कॉफी नहीं पी है इसलिए आपका बिहेवियर ऐसा हो रहा है।
Yeah.
सो would you call that an addiction to coffee, या वो
It's not
कई
an
लोग कहते हैं
addiction
it's
to coffee
addiction.
per se, but it's an addiction to the boost, the energy boost that you get out of coffee.
Okay. So, what do you think? What's the most underrated coffee ritual or tradition that people often overlook?
So, if I remove instant coffee from this, okay, if I'm talking only about roasted coffee, majority of people, not just in India, globally also, would buy ground beans, okay, and then use that in their coffee machines, whichever machine it is. I think that's something that people should look at changing, because I think the most underrated and the most important part of brewing is that you grind your beans fresh.
So like instant, because जहाँ तक मुझे याद है for most of the time मैं भी instant coffee drink कर रही हूँ, because इतना समझ ही नहीं था।
Yeah.
ठीक है, अब एकदम suddenly health सब कुछ strike in हो गया है कि यहाँ पे preservative है, इसमें preservative है, ये avoid करो वो करो। तो अब अगर मैं I don't have a coffee, I don't have right accessories or coffee machines at home, let's say.
Yeah.
But I want to have good coffee. So what would you suggest?
Then have something like this.
Black
Get
coffee.
drip bags. Get drip bags. So you get drip bags from other brands also, and you can try ours also. And have this to brew at home.
Okay.
Right. This actually you can travel with also. I travel with these bags, and I can brew it in a flight. I can brew it on a train, anywhere that I want.
Yeah, travel friendly.
Yes, the travel friendly. You don't need any equipment with this. Far better than instant coffees. And
But I think instant coffee is because people, I personally feel कि अब के time people have become very lazy also. They are.
But
like,
this
no,
works with
not इसके लिए नहीं, but in the sense वो quick commerce के time की वजह से, जो हम अगर हमें एक let's say पेप्सी भी लेनी हो तो हम जो चल के 10 कदम जाते थे वो भी ब्लिंकिट ने ऐसे कर दिया कि क्या चाहिए, अच्छा बैठे। So I think even people who love coffee, if they don't know much about drip bags, वो instant coffee के सिवाय कोई ऑप्शन समझ नहीं पाते, क्योंकि लगता है ये भी लेना पड़ेगा, ये एक्सेसरी भी लेनी पड़ेगी, ये मशीन चाहिए होगी। तो छोड़ यार instant coffee ले
So
लेता
I'll
हूँ.
tell you that the reason this change needs to happen, and it is happening.
It is
It's
happening now, yeah.
Not just in India, globally. I think instant has been the biggest part of
Suddenly
coffee.
लोगों ने अपने coffee stations घर में बनाने शुरू कर दिए. to
Even if you
enjoy.
don't do that, people are understanding that instant coffee is not good. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you why it is not good. For example, if a farmer is growing 100 kgs of coffee, okay, out of that, a certain percentage, which is at the top layer, okay, which is free of any defects, which has been washed specially, picked specially during the harvest time, you can call that specialty coffee, okay. So there's a specialty coffee association. There is a scoring method, very technical. But that 10% or 15% is specialty coffee. Below that is commercially available coffee that they sell through other brands or anything else, right? Whatever is left at the end, the bottom 20-25% of coffee, which neither the trade people will buy, a specialty person will never even look at that coffee. That goes into instant coffees.
Coffee. So tell me about a coffee moment which you'll never forget. Like it can be with a stranger or in an unexpected place. Date भी हो सकती है, कोई coffee date हो.
So for me, I think the most special coffee moments have been in coffee farms, in estates, drinking coffee with farmers, exploring different kind of coffees.
So the knowledge वो जो farmers पास होती है would be very different.
Yeah. So I make it a point that I travel, I think every quarter once to visit the farms. Just go and sit with them, have a chat, drink coffee.
So tell us something what they told you about कुछ उनका जो आपको
So
लगता है
a lot
normal
of it
people
is
don't know.
technical. A lot of it is about the journey of coffee, about how coffee is changing, how coffee needs to change in the future. Because we spoke about what's happening in Brazil, right? That's a reality which is going to happen everywhere. That is something which is going to be a challenge in terms of कि हम Arabica कितनी produce कर रहे हैं, हम Robusta कितनी produce कर रहे हैं, right? Because with climate changing, Arabica is going to suffer because Arabica is grown at higher altitudes. Robusta, the plant is robust. Okay, that's how the name comes. So it can survive in higher temperatures also. Arabica cannot. So recently, most of the discussions with farmers are around this on how will we go around it because the world depends on Arabica. So Arabica is the more flavorful bean. It's fruitier, it has more complex flavors because it is grown at a higher altitude. The ripening is slow, okay, so it gets more complex flavors. Robusta has a bigger caffeine kick, it has more caffeine percentage. The taste notes are mostly chocolatey and earthy. So the world likes Arabica, loves Arabica, and we are facing a challenge in that. So whether we will move to new areas to grow coffee or whether we will move to new climate resistant varieties of Arabica, or we will do something with fermentation, or we will do something with fermentation of Robusta to introduce fruitier notes. So generally discussions are around these things.
So I have some facts or myths, I don't know. I would like you to put light on them. Okay,
If
so
I can, yeah.
espresso has more caffeine than a cup of coffee.
Espresso is also a cup of coffee.
Right. But does espresso particularly has higher caffeine level?
Now, it depends on what you're comparing it to. So if you compare it to a cappuccino, okay, a cappuccino is made from espresso. So it will have the same amount of caffeine. But you're having it as a shot, which is very intense. So you feel that it has more caffeine, but that's not the case. It
But
will
do you think espresso shots, having it like a shot, उसका कोई particular reason होता है? Or it's just
Yeah,
because
it wakes
कई
you
लोग pre-workout की तरह लेना चाहते हैं.
it wakes you up faster.
It does. It actually does.
And for people who don't want to put anything else in their coffee, like milk or anything else, espresso shot is the way to go. So I drink espresso shots. I don't want to dilute my coffee with anything.
But वो coffee का जो एक flavor होता है वो उसको spoil नहीं करता है. Because like when I have my coffee मैं वो एक sip enjoy कर रही होती हूँ.
So the thing is, espresso, because it is such an intense shot, the flavors are also very intense. So as someone who is starting to get into coffee, will you enjoy espresso shots? Probably not. Probably not. You would want to have it with milk or diluting it with hot water like a long black or an Americano. So for people who are starting, that's the way to go. I think that's a kind of
Right,
initiation into coffee. Or what you can do is you can start with manual brews, which is a pour over or a
Right.
French press
Right.
or an aeropress, which again are easier to drink, offer a more palatable experience for people.
Adding milk ruins the benefits of coffee.
Very personal choice.
But on reality levels,
Some people love milk, and for some people, milk is a source of a lot of nutrients. So, does it lead to a loss of health benefits? For them, no. For some people who can't have milk, like I can't
I
drink
can't
milk.
have milk.
I can't drink milk. So, for me, black coffee is the way to go. Like I can drink milk, I don't enjoy
बट
it.
ऐसा कुछ नहीं कि अगर आप कॉफी में मिल्क डाल रहे हो तो वो फ्लेवर रुइन कर रही है या उसका टेस्ट
Again, subjective. For me, yes, it ruins the flavor.
me too.
Absolutely, it ruins the flavor.
कलर भी
I don't think you should add milk to
Same
coffee,
here.
if you ask me personally, but I don't think that's a choice that should be pushed on everyone. I think everyone should enjoy coffee the way they want to enjoy it.
sugar is the worst thing you can put in your coffee.
Same
Subjective.
like milk. Yeah, I
Is
I
entirely your
drink my
choice.
coffee without sugar, without milk, but who cannot drink it without sugar? Ideally, people should try to avoid or reduce as
Sugar.
much as possible, both sugar and
पर
milk.
शुगर तो डॉक्टर्स भी बोलने लगे इट्स अ स्लो पॉइजन द वाइट शुगर इवन द डॉक्टर्स हैव कम टू दैट
That's been
थिंग
true for so many decades now. Everyone knows it, but we can't stop.
stop them. Okay, so think more into it कि मैं अगर इसको typically health because I've heard lot कि coffee has become a detox for your liver. बहुत सारे medically
Yeah,
doctors ने ये चीज बोली that coffee
Yes.
helps to detox your liver. Coffee is a very good source for your heart.
Yeah.
Wine is actually not a good source for your heart.
Red wine also, some people say, some scientists say. So,
बट मेनली कॉफी को आप सडनली तो अगर आपको किसी लेट्स से इफ यू आर अ कॉफी लवर और लेट्स से जस्ट बिकॉज यू मेक कॉफी तो आपको किसी टी लवर को समझाना हो तो आप कैसे समझा सकते हो वी आर नॉट सेइंग टी इज बैड फॉर यू
so
बट
for me, because I've never had tea in my life,
सो यू डोंट नो द टी टेस्ट
so smelled it. I didn't like it, so I never tried it. So for me, that distinction is very clear and it is very
बट टी के
drastic.
कोई हेल्थ बेनिफिट्स आपको लगते हैं
So herbal teas,
Because
yes. Herbal teas,
teas.
yes. I'm not sure whether the masala chai has
बिकॉज
any
उसमें जो मैं
benefits.
सी लाइक इंस्टेंट कॉफी में प्रिजर्वेटिव हैं तो टी भी तो इंस्टेंट टी ही टाइप आ रही है आप उसको डाल रहे हो आप पका रहे
No,
हो
that's not instant tea. So the difference is,
प्रिजर्वेटिव तो उसमें भी होंगे
नहीं, instant tea is not instant. See, tea को आप छान रहे हो.
राइट
Right. Instant coffee is something which dissolves
Mix हो
into
रही है,
water.
right.
Right. Ideally, coffee is exactly like tea. It is supposed to be filtered. Instant coffee is something wherein you are not filtering. Okay, you're not required to do that filtering. So someone else has done that for you.
You're right.
That is the reason for the preservatives. Tea, Indian tea specifically, I don't think preservatives is the issue. The issue is that what we get in India is not the highest quality of, because the best of the teas are again exported out.
मतलब हमारा ही सामान बाहर बेच देता है और हमें कुछ भी दे दिया जाता है
हम ही बेच रहे हैं. It is Indians who are doing that because they are getting a better price
तो वो
outside.
भी तो चेंज कराओ कोई Okay, so here are some quick questions for you. If you could rename coffee, what would you call it?
Nah, I don't want to rename it. I think it's a beautiful name. I love the name. I don't want to rename it.
Okay. First sip of your coffee in the morning is a pure bliss or survival mode?
Bliss. I don't need coffee for survival. I have not been addicted to it to
You
that
enjoy
extent. Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever paired with coffee?
I don't think I have paired anything weird with coffee. Something I have generally paired things which I have ended up enjoying.
Okay.
But I hear so many different things that people
I
are
came
trying.
across a guy उसने वनीला गुलाब जामुन और उस पे कॉफी का एस्प्रेसो शॉट
Yeah,
डाल
I won't
एस्प्रेसो
do
शॉट
that.
डाल के पिया था
I won't do that.
and it tasted yuck to another level.
So I'll tell you the ones that I have done recently. I added, I had passion fruit juice and I added an espresso shot to it, and it was fabulous. Then I've done the same with fresh coconut water out of a coconut, and then an espresso shot.
So some 2-3 things which you would like to tell the people so they can try it at home.
Please try this. Get fresh coconut water and add an espresso shot to it. It will take care of your dehydration also.
Yeah. I am thinking about the passion fruit juice.
That
वो
also came
tangy
out very nice.
tinge
Yeah,
आया
that also
होगा.
came out very nice.
But I am not a espresso fan, like strong. तो मैं अगर ऐसा क्या try कर सकती हूँ जो
So
थोड़ा
you can add
different हो?
this now. So this works perfectly for you because instead of milk, which you don't want to have, you can have a glass of passion fruit juice and add an espresso shot on top of it and mix it and have.
It is going to taste nice, I'm sure. Okay.
With good coffee, you need to have good coffee. The
So I'm
espresso should come
gonna
from.
wait for your coffee.
Yes.
Buy that coffee, then try it.
Yeah.
So, French press, pour over, or instant, what's your energy go to?
I do pour overs almost every day.
So, describe your coffee order in 3 words.
Double shot espresso.
One coffee trend that needs to disappear ASAP.
Flavored instant coffees.
After what you explained me today, I feel the same too now.
Yes.
अब मुझे पता है कि हम जो ले रहे हैं वो फ्लेवर्ड के नाम पे कुछ और ही है.
Yeah.
Would you rather give up coffee for a year or wake up at 5 a.m. every day?
I want to wake up at 5 a.m. every day and then drink coffee.
One question that we figured out through the threads that we were running, and they wanted us to ask a barista or someone related to it. So that is, if you had to start your coffee journey all over again,
Yeah.
what's one mistake you'd avoid and one thing you do exactly the same?
What I would do exactly the same is that I used to, even when I started, used to go to different places and ask for coffee and try different coffees. What I would change is that I would buy a grinder sooner. Like I would stop having ground coffee from different places, buy a grinder sooner, have freshly roasted coffee, and then grind it myself and brew it. I think that is one big game changer.
So these are some questions which we call under a segment called caffeine craze.
Okay.
So now the third wave coffee focused on specialty, quality, and origin. What does the fourth wave look like to you?
So the fourth wave is more about enhancing the flavors of coffee. Okay, you do that using fermentation, you do different methods, processing methods to improve the quality of the coffee, taste profile of the coffee. How do I look at it? I think it's an important thing. I think it is something important which is going to give us a lot of information and knowledge, because as we spoke, if coffee is going to change due to climate change, we need to adapt to it.
Do you think AI and automation will change how we brew and experience coffee?
It is changing already. Yeah, it's all. So there are brewers now which do everything on their own. So you have, and not even now, it's been going on for some time now. You have machines which can do a pour over for you without you having to do anything. You just have to press a button and they will do a pour over for you. So it is already changing. It will standardize the taste in terms of what you're serving to your consumers. And I think at a cafe level, it is something which can be of real value. As a coffee explorer, would I want to do that? No, because every day when I brew my coffee, it is different from the other day, right? Because the temperature can be different, the grind size can be different, how I'm pouring the water can be different. And that sometimes help me get flavors.
अच्छा, pouring the water, the way you pour the water, ये भी impact डालता है आपके
Yes, it
coffee.
also have an impact.
इतना मतलब आपने simple वो system नहीं है.
No, how you're pouring, what speed you're pouring at, what whether you're pouring in the middle or you're pouring circular.
So अगर कोई experiment करना चाहता है वो water को भी अलग-अलग way से
People
pour कर.
create their own water also. What people do is they will distill their water, get it to 0 TDS, and introduce the right salts to pair with a particular coffee.
These experiments can be done at home also.
Yeah. Not so much in India yet. I think पानी के साथ experiments अभी इंडिया में कम हुए हैं. But there's a brand called Third Wave Water, which sells these sachets of salts that you are supposed to add to a 0 TDS distilled water to pair with a particular coffee. So for light roast, there's a different, for medium roast, for dark roast, for different origins also, there are different salts that you're supposed to add. So there's a lot of work happening on that front.
So compostable pods, zero waste cafes, and direct trade the future or just marketing gimmicks?
Direct trade, I think, will be the future. I think more and more farmers are now aware of how they can sell coffee, how they can create their own brands, and how can they reach the end consumers directly, which I think is a great thing, because traditionally what we have seen is that farmers have never gotten their dues in the industry. Right. The other thing that you spoke about,
zero waste cafes.
Zero waste cafe is not just about coffee or cafe. It is something which is fundamentally a shift which is happening and should happen more and more in the food industry.
Yeah. So what is your take on lab grown coffee?
No, I don't think so.
You think आगे it will work जैसे lab grown diamond ने आके real diamond की value?
But actually, if you see now, lab grown diamonds are gone. So their values have plummeted by 60-70%. And people are now realizing
real diamond real
मतलब
वही होगा, coffee रहेगी.
See, the thing is, as we spoke some time back, every country has a different coffee taste profile because of the soil, water, altitude. Lab grown will be like one taste. Why would I want to go for that? The joy of coffee is when you try a new coffee and you have new flavors.
Do you think specialty coffee is overpriced, or does it truly justifies its values?
I don't think it is overpriced. I think it
not.
justifies the value. I think there's a lot of hard work involved, right from the farm to the processing to the roasting, and then finally getting it out fresh into the hands of consumer. Because one of the key aspects of specialty is also the freshness, right? So all of this, there's a lot of hard work involved, right from the farm level. I don't think it is overpriced. I think we are living in times where we are used to getting shitty products at very cheap prices.
Right,
it is
right.
similar to having your normal veggies versus organic veggies. Right.
अब खानी सबको ऑर्गेनिक ही है आज के टाइम
हाँ,
पर
it is
महंगी भी
expensive.
बोलनी है.
It is
Right,
expensive.
right.
And it is expensive because it is not done at scale. Similarly, specialty coffee is not or cannot be done at scale.
होलसेल और सिंगल पीस के प्राइस का
Yep.
डिफरेंस हो.
Yes.
This is about the changing cafe culture. Is it still about coffee, or it's more about aesthetic cafes now? Like, have cafes become more about Instagram aesthetics
So I'll tell
than
you
actual
what,
coffee
the cafes
quality?
that we work with are generally very keen on the quality of coffee that they're serving.
No, there are obviously some cafes like
Yeah.
that, but majority of cafes is what I'm.
I think again this will change. Right now it is about aesthetics. I think slowly coffee will
Because now
again take
people
center
are-
stage
yeah.
because people are asking for good coffee. So we see that change. We see a lot of cafes who approach us rather than us having to approach them, asking for change of coffee, asking for better quality coffee. And that is happening because from a consumer side, there's a push coming that you need to serve better coffee.
Coffee cocktails are trending. Do you see coffee becoming an all-day social drink? Be it mocktails also?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Because as we spoke some time back, the initiation of people into coffee will become faster when you have two things. First, great quality beans, specialty coffee coming in. Secondly, when you make it easier as a medium for people to consume coffee. That can be through mocktails, that can be through cocktails. Cocktails have been there always, like espresso martini is a very old thing, but generally people don't understand the espresso shot which is going into it because that's not the main concern, right? But slowly again that's changing.
So one thing that I want you to explain is about the flavored coffee and taste notes, because बहुत लोग हैं जिनको ये confusion होगा और होता भी होगा normally कि हम flavored coffee पी रहे हैं या यहाँ पे आपने भी flavor लिख दिए हैं. So I really want that people should know कि difference क्या है flavored coffee में और taste notes.
Yeah, so the taste notes on this coffee are lemon and lime zest with fruity caramel. कॉफी के जो टेस्ट नोट्स होते हैं वो फ्लेवर से कैसे अलग होते हैं? बस फ्लेवर्स इज कि किसी ने हेजलनट ऐड किया है या ऑरेंज ऐड किया है, आयरिश क्रीम ऐड किया है, बट इस कॉफी में जैसे लाइम, लेमन जेस्ट और फ्रूटी कैरामल का फ्लेवर है, ये हमने ऐड नहीं किया है. दिस इज समथिंग जो नेचुरली कॉफी में होता है. अभी आता कैसे? जैसे कॉफी रोस्ट हुई है और जिस तरीके से उसे ब्रू किया गया है, उसके बाद कुछ ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स, कुछ वीओसीज डोमिनेट करते हैं उस कप में.
VOCs as in?
वॉलेटाइल ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स.
Okay.
उसके बेसिस पे उसका जो टेस्ट नोट्स है वो आप डिफाइन करते हो कि जो ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स अभी इस कप में हैं उनका टेस्ट किस तरह का है. बिकॉज जो भी टेस्ट होता है, कोई भी एरोमा होता है किसी भी फूड प्रोडक्ट में, वो ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड से ही होता है.
So जो फ्लेवर्ड कॉफी है वो इंस्टेंट कॉफी में अलग से
डाला गया
प्रिजर्वेटिव्स एंड ऑल डाल के बनता है. जो टेस्ट नोट्स हैं हमारे, वो हमारे कॉफी में ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट होते हैं. वो आपके ऊपर है आप किन कंपाउंड्स को ज्यादा
बेसिकली क्या प्रोसेस है, किस तरीके से कॉफी बनाई गई है, उससे आपको पता चलेगा. सो कॉफी के अंदर आई थिंक मोर देन 4000 VOCs होते हैं. ओके. इसीलिए कॉफी में आपको ब्लूबेरी का टेस्ट भी आ सकता है, गोजीबेरी का टेस्ट भी आ सकता है, स्टोन फ्रूट का टेस्ट भी आ सकता है, जैस्मिन भी आ सकता है. सो यू कैन गेट फ्रूटी नोट्स, फ्लोरल नोट्स, earthy notes, chocolatey notes, paper notes. So some of them are good, desirable. कुछ ऐसे होते हैं जो हम चाहते ना आए. ये डिपेंड करता है कि किस तरह से आपकी प्रोसेसिंग हुई है, रोस्टिंग हुई है, ब्रूइंग हो रही है।
ऐसा कोई स्पेसिफिक टेस्ट नोट से रिलेटेड चीज भी होती है जो आपको हेल्थ बेनिफिट देती है, या
नहीं,
कॉफी कॉफी एज अ कॉफी
कॉफी,
बेनिफिट
ब्लैक
है?
कॉफी से हेल्थ बेनिफिट होता है, बाकी टेस्ट नोट से ऐसा एटलीस्ट अभी तक साइंटिफिकली ऐसा कुछ एक्सप्लेन नहीं है।
Okay. So, bringing us to the end of the segment, I have a question. So, if you had to predict one major change in the coffee world by 2030, what would it be? One coffee trend you love and one you wish would disappear completely.
I think the automation on the espresso side will go much higher.
Okay.
Uh, and I think at some point of time we will have very good quality fully automatic machines. Right now, you have fully automatic machines and you have semi-automatic. Semi-automatic machines are the ones which are used in cafes, which give great cup of coffee. Fully automatic machines are okay. They serve their purpose. They give decent cups of espressos and cappuccinos, which majority of the people can enjoy, but they don't do full justice to the capability of a coffee.
And how was your experience?
Great, great. It is always good to talk about coffee.
And anything you would like to say about the Brew Gang platform that's about to launch?
I think it's a very important thing. It's something which is needed in the Indian industry, because what's happening is that uh, a lot of people are doing great work with coffee. Just like Blackpool, there are a lot of other brands which are doing some very, very good work with coffee, bringing out Indian coffee onto the
Right.
national and global stage. Platform wherein you can explore all these different brands, all these different new coffees, and buy those coffees. I think something like this has been needed. In fact, this is something that I myself have been thinking about for the last 4 5 years, that something like this should exist. And I'm glad that you guys are doing it.
Thank you so much. I hope our podcast did help a lot of people to understand some amazing facts and amazing ideas. Thank you for joining us on this caffeinated journey. If you enjoyed the podcast, follow and subscribe to our channel.